Welcome to today's session at KVS RO Jabalpur, Class 12 Commerce Business Studies. Today's session is in continuation of the previous session, that is Nature and Significance of Management Part 2 by Tej Kumar Bharadwaj, PGT Commerce at KVSCCL Dhanpuri. We have already discussed about the syllabus in the previous session, and we are starting with Nature and Significance of Management, the very first unit. We also discussed about the concept map in the previous session. This entire concept we are going to study in class 12th in business studies subject. The topics we decided to discuss in this unit were definition of management, effective versus efficiency, features of management, objectives of management, importance of management, levels of management, functions of management, nature of management, and finally coordination as the essence of management. In previous session we discussed about definition of management, effectiveness versus efficiency, features of management, objectives of management, importance of management, levels of management, functions of management, and now we are going to start with nature of management. So let us discuss about nature of management. What management is? The management is the trinity of art, science and profession also. Means the management possesses the features of an art, a science, and also it has some features of a profession. Let us discuss them one by one. First of all, let us have a discussion on how management is an art. Any art is application of theoretical knowledge in practical situations. कला का मतलब है जो थ्योरी हमने सीखी है किसी भी चीज़ की उसे रियल सिचुएशंस में उसको अप्लाई करना. जैसे कि म्यूजिक इज हैविंग इट्स ओन थ्योरी. whenever there is a musician, he must be aware of the 7 notes, their families, 7 notes, their minor chords, major chords, how the grouping is done, how the compositions are made. Means he must know the theory before application of that art, before performance of that art. In the same way, a painter must know that what are the primary colors, what is the palette, how many types of brushes are there, how the strokes are applied on the canvas. So he must know about the theory. All the artists have some theoretical knowledge which they apply in real situation. In the same way, managers also has special kind of theoretical knowledge. This is the knowledge, this is the content which we are right now discussing. What I am telling you is theoretical knowledge of management. So according to the very first point, yes, management is an art because it is having its own theoretical knowledge which can be applied in real life business situations and other practical situations. Then personalized application. Students, remember, every artist, although he is in possession of the common content, common theoretical knowledge, but when he applies in it real life situations, the application becomes totally personalized. Means his own presence, his own signature can be clearly identified while he is performing something. For example, the artists such as painters, world famous painter Picasso, although he is applying the same kind of theoretical knowledge, the theory regarding painting is same, but it will be totally different when Leonardo da Vinci applies the same thing. Means the artwork of Picasso although based on the same theoretical knowledge, will be entirely different from Leonardo da Vinci's work. Why there is a difference? Because of their personalized application. In the same way, the musicians, the music composers, the artwork, the music composition of A.R. Rahman will be entirely different than that of Jatin Lalit's music compositions. Those who have a little knowledge of music can easily make out that this music composed by A.R. Rahman and this music is composed by Jatin Lalit. Although they are using the same theoretical knowledge about the music, they are using same 7 notes. But why there is a difference? Because this is an art. Whenever the art is performed, is applied, the personalized signature of the performer is clearly visible. In the same way, in management also. Let us take an example. The owner says, the management says, we need to increase the profits. Manager A can do this thing by suggesting that by increasing the sales, profits can be increased, while at the same time manager B can suggest that, sir, keeping the sale constant by reducing the cost, we can increase the profits. Means same situation, same theoretical knowledge of management, but application is different. So according to second point, that is personalized application, yes, management is also an art. Management has first feature of art, that is theoretical knowledge. Number 2, personalized application. Move towards the third feature of management as an art. It is based on practice and creativity. Remember, the artists become more perfect, more senior, more effective when they keep on practicing. You must be aware that Sachin never stopped net practice, even when he became the legendary cricketer. In the same way, Sur Samraghi, Lata Mangeshkar has not stopped doing practice of music. वो आज भी डेली रियाज करती हैं, जबकि उनको अब अचीव करने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं बचा है. So all artists keep on practicing, and they bring out new kind of creativity by practicing. In the same way, the managers, it is a well-known fact, the senior is manager, the more his salary is. Means it is based on practice and creativity. You can see, can you remember the day when you started learning cycling? At that time you were not that perfect, but now effortlessly you can do it. In the same way, if any one of you has started learning guitar, earlier it was very difficult to hold the strings, very difficult to do the strumming, but now you can do it effortlessly in a very smooth way. So arts are based on practice and creativity. So when we see all 3 features of art, actually we can say all 3 features are present in management, therefore management is an art. So this is very much confirmed that management is art due to number 1 feature, existence of theoretical knowledge, number 2, personalized application, and number 3, based on practice and creativity. So very surely we can say that yes, management is an art. Dear student, if the question comes in exam, you will have to answer in that way only. I mean, first of all, introduction, how management is the trinity of art, science and profession. Then you will discuss all 3 features of an art by giving real life examples, and then you will confirm that whether the 3 features are present in management or not. After that you will give a conclusion that yes, management is an art. This will be the way how you will attempt this question. Let us move forward. Second feature of management is management as a science. It is the nature of management that it is art. We have just discussed and confirmed that management is an art for sure. Now let us see whether the management is a science or not. Science means anything which is having a systematized body of knowledge. The knowledge, the concept, the principles which have been propounded based on studies, on experimentation, the principles which can be challenged in any situation and will give the same outcome. So let us see whether management is a science or not. Very first feature of science is systematized body of knowledge. All sciences have a very defined structure of content or knowledge which has been propounded, which has been derived through a long journey, various experiments. In management or in science, there should be cause and effect relationship. For example, in science, when we start heating the water, after reaching a certain level of temperature, it will start boiling. And after reaching a certain level of temperature, it will start evaporating also. So there is a cause and effect relationship कि अगर हम ऐसा करें तो outcome ये होगा. The outcome can be predicted and that will be true in every situation. So in management also there is cause and effect relationship. Let us see two examples. Number one, in management we know that motivated worker produces more. If a worker is motivated, he will give more output. So there is a cause and effect relationship in management. In the same way, we all know that basic fundamental principle of economics, that when we reduce the price of a product, the demand increases. Means again there is a cause and effect relationship. So according to first feature, that is systematic body of knowledge, management is a science because it is also having cause and effect relationship where outcomes are clearly predictable. Management principles are also based on observation and experimentation. In science it happens, Newton first observed that the apple is falling on his head. It was observation, but he simply did not propounded the principle of gravity just by observing it. Then he did some kind of experimentations, and when he found the common outcome in every situation, then he propounded the principle of gravity. Same thing happens in management also. There are principles based on observation by Henry Fayol. There are 14 principles which are simply based on observation, and there are principles propounded by F.W. Taylor which are called scientific principles. They are clearly based on experimentation. So dear students, according to first point, that is systematic body of knowledge, yes, management is a science. Second feature is principles are based on experimentation. As we discussed just now, management principles are based on experimentation. First we observe them, then we design the situations, environment, apply the same thing, and when we get common outcome in every situation, every designed situation, then we come to know that yes, it happens, and we propound a managerial principle. Number 3, universal validity. Remember, all the scientific principles are universally valid. They are commonly applicable in every situation, everywhere, anywhere in the world. Managerial principles are also universal. Managerial principles are also universal means when I say that the motivated worker produces more, it applies in India as well as in USA or anywhere in this world. In your home, in my home, everywhere the motivated worker produces more. The motivated person can give better output. So this is the established principle. It is a universal fact also. In the same way, regarding management, marketing management, when we reduce the price of a product, we get increased demand. It's a clear-cut cause and effect relationship which is universally applicable. In this way, we can say that management is also having third feature of science, that is universally valid. So we can clearly say that management is a science. It is universally applicable. Its principles are clearly applicable everywhere in the world. in all types of organization, at all levels of management, everywhere. But the question arises, can we confirmly say management is a science? Answer is yes, management is a science, but it is a soft science. Management is not a rigid science like physics and chemistry. Why? Because its principles cannot be tested in laboratory like physics and chemistry, and the outcome may vary. Dear student, no need to get confused. Management principles are universal, but let us see an example. I simply said that a motivated worker produces more. Agreed, it is universal thing. But one person may be motivated by positive means. For example, by getting rewards. किसी आदमी को हम इनाम दें तो वो मोटिवेट होता है. But at the same time, there may be people, there may be workers, there may be subordinates who are motivated through negative means. They need a close supervision. They need regular instructions. Then only they are motivated to produce, to give output. So management principles are universal, they are commonly applicable, but outcome may be different. In the same way, when we say that demand increases when price is reduced, but it depends on the nature of product and nature of buyer, and outcome may be different. So finally we can conclude in this point that management is a science. Yes, true, it is a science because it is having cause and effect relationship, that is systematic body of knowledge. Number two, it is having principles which are based on experimentation, and also it is having the universal validity, means its principles are applicable all over the world. But you have to conclude saying that management is not a rigid science like physics and chemistry because its principles cannot be applied, cannot be tested in laboratory. It is a soft science. Coming to the third nature, let us see now whether management is a profession. A profession means well-defined body of knowledge, a separate set of skills possessed by a special person. A doctor is having separate kind of skills, a teacher is having a separate kind of skills, a CA is having separate set of skills which he has acquired through formal methods of training. So let us see whether management is a profession or not. So very first feature, well-defined body of knowledge. For example, a medical practitioner, a doctor, must have some theoretical knowledge, some well-defined body of knowledge, some separate set of skills which he has acquired through doing courses like MBBS or MD. In the same way, a legal practitioner or advocate is having separate kind of knowledge, separate set of skills which he has acquired by doing courses like LLB or LLM. A CA is having separate set of skills which he has acquired by doing courses of foundation, IPCC, finals, etc. In the same way, the managers are also having a well-defined body of knowledge and a separate set of skills which they have acquired by doing management courses like MBA. Right now, what we are discussing is that well-defined body of knowledge. Right now, you are learning management. According to this point, yes, management is a profession. Remember, according to first point, management is a profession because it is having a well-defined body of knowledge which is acquired by doing courses like MBA. Coming to second point, restricted entry. What does it mean? Can everyone go and do the operations, or can give the medicines, or can do the treatment of a patient? No. Only a person having qualified degrees can do that. Can everyone go and fight the cases, legal cases in court? No. There must be persons who are having LLB or LLM kind of degrees. Can everyone go and authenticate the accounts, verify the accounts? of a firm? No, he cannot. He must have a degree issued by ICAI, a certificate. But for management, it is not necessary. Even without the degree of having management, you can be appointed as a manager in a firm. Remember, according to second point, management is not a profession, because there is no restricted entry. Anyone, even without having a degree of MBA or management degree, can be appointed as a manager in a firm. Number 3, there must be a representative professional association for a profession. All professionals have. For medical profession, it is compulsory for all the doctors to register under IMA, Indian Medical Association. These representative organizations actually issue a code of conduct, guidelines, behavioral guidelines, ethics, do's and don'ts. If any member of their association is not following that, his license can be cancelled. So for example, for doctors, such code of conduct or registration or licenses are given by IMA. All legal practitioners have to get registered themselves under Bar Council of India. All CAs must have certificate from ICAI, but for management there is no such organization. Although there is a firm, there is an organization called EMA, AIMA, All India Management Association, but it is not having a legal structure. I mean, that is not a legally recognized body, so we don't count it. According to third point, management is not a profession because it is not having any representative professional association where registration of managers is compulsory. Coming to the fourth point, ethical code of conduct. All professionals have ethical code of conduct, a list of do's and don'ts, what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. For example, if you imagine a doctor in your mind, you can easily imagine his dress code. He is wearing the white coat. And in the same way, for legal practitioners or advocates, there is a black coat. For CAs, there are separate guidelines, do's and don'ts. Let me tell you, all the doctors, while filling the reservation form at Indian Railway, they have to mark yes in that column whether you are a medical practitioner. सभी डॉक्टर्स के लिए रिजर्वेशन का फॉर्म भरते समय क्या आप एक डॉक्टर हैं के कॉलम में टिक करना ज़रूरी है, क्यों कि अगर आपकी ज़रूरत की सेवाओं की ज़रूरत पड़े तो उनको हम अवेल कर सकें. सो दीज आर द एथिकल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट फॉर डॉक्टर्स. इन द सेम वे देयर आर do's and don'ts for every professional, but for managers not legally necessary. There are set of rules, there are do's and don'ts for managers. For example, if you imagine a manager, you can easily see a formally dressed up person wearing tie and having a very nice attire, but it is not legally required, it is not legally certified that you have to do this thing. So according to this point, management cannot be considered as a profession. Till now, only first point has qualified, according to which management can be considered as a profession. Last point is service motive. What is the meaning of service motive? Can services be provided without earning profit, or can profits be made without providing services? No, they both are complementary. But we are talking about the priority. So priority means for all professionals, it is assumed that they must keep service motive primarily and earning motive secondary. Doctors, we suppose that a doctor will keep the service motive primary and will keep the earning motive secondary. The same is expected from the legal practitioner also. The same is expected from CAs. But for managers, we all know, we have studied about objectives of management in the previous session, that it is survival, profit and growth. So without providing services, even managers cannot earn profit. But when we talk about the priority, it is priority of profit over service. But in rest of the professions, it is obviously service is primarily and earning profit is secondary. So according to this point also, we cannot consider the management as a profession. So when we discuss, when we conclude the nature of management, we will say yes, management is a art, management is a science, although soft science, not a rigid science, but management is a science. But we will say management is not a profession. In your exam, if the question is asked in the form of true false, the objective type question, you will say management is a art, yes. Management is a science, yes. Management is a profession, no. So management is not a profession. Let us move forward towards a very important topic, that is coordination. Dear students, coordination is different from cooperation. It is synchronization, it is harmony, and it is essence of management. Management is nothing but coordination of different resources available, different efforts in the organization towards achievement of one common goal. Coordination means a collectivity of all the efforts toward one common goal. Coordination makes 2 plus 2 5 possible. Very interesting thing. कोऑर्डिनेशन सामंजस्य से एक और एक 11 होते हैं. Individually we are individuals, but collectively we are team. If you remember the Indian team playing cricket, when they won the World Cup, it was a team who won the World Cup. Not a batsman, not a bowler, not a wicket keeper, not a fielder. It was a team who won World Cup. So coordination makes 2 plus 2 5 possible. Coordination is the essence of management. What is the meaning of essence? Essence means essentiality. Means in management, coordination has to be there. Coordination is the essential element of a management. मैनेजमेंट में अगर कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं होगा तो फिर कुछ भी नहीं होगा. Synchronization of group efforts is very very necessary in coordination. It is essential. It is the thread in the garland. समझिए इस चीज को. If you see the garland, the thread which is binding it is simply disappeared. You cannot see the thread, but still you know it very well that thread is inside the flowers. It is binding them and converting them, the flowers, into a garland. The moment we remove the thread, the garland will no more be garland. It will be a bunch of flowers only. In the same way, a different variety of functions are performed in the organization. It is the coordination which binds them as a team. So it is the binding force, it is the binding element. Next is, coordination is not a function of management, but it is present in all the functions of management. Remember, whenever there is asked in exam that coordination is a function of management, you will simply say no. Coordination is not a function of, it is not a separate function of management. Still it is present in all the functions of management. Later on we'll discuss how coordination is present in planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling, means all the functions of management. But remember, it is not a separate function of management. Still, don't forget that it is present in all the functions of management. Let us see few examples. You have seen an orchestra. In orchestra, there are musicians who are playing flute, there are musicians who are playing guitar, there are persons who are playing tabla, different musical instruments. But there is one person who is actually not playing any music instrument. He is simply having sticks in his hand, and you know very well that he is present in all the instruments. Actually, he is present in all the things. He is binding them. He is collecting them. And a very interesting fact: when you come out of a show, you say, "मैंने एक गाना सुना." I enjoyed one song. So coordination is not a function of management. Rather, it is present in all the functions of management, and it is collecting them. It is binding them. It is giving them a shape. In your school also, you must have observed there are people who are teaching mathematics. There are teachers who are teaching you languages like English, mathematics, Sanskrit. There are teachers who are teaching you accountancy, business studies. There are people in office who are maintaining records. There are people who are involved in maintaining the cleanliness in the school. And there is a person who is not doing any of the things, any of these functions, but still you know that that person is actually behind all these functions. He is coordinating them, he is collecting them, he is binding them. So that factor is called coordination. Let us move forward. Coordination is the essence of management. Coordination integrates group efforts. In an organization, there are departments. There are departments doing different functions, separate functions, variety of functions, and coordination integrates group efforts. Whosoever is doing anything in the organization, anywhere in any department, it is the duty of coordination to integrate those efforts towards one common organizational goal. So giving the direction to the group efforts is called coordination. It integrates, it binds. It ensures unity of action. Unity of action means performing variety of functions but towards common direction. Performing variety of functions, different functions, apparently totally different functions, but directing, channelizing all those efforts toward one common goal is called unity of action. For example, आप ये समझिए कि एक रथ में, एक गाड़ी में 4 घोड़े हों और चारों घोड़े अलग अलग दिशा में भाग रहे हों, तो क्या वो गाड़ी कहीं पहुंचेगी? नहीं। हो सकता है कि वो गाड़ी टूट भी जाए, लेकिन अगर वही चारों घोड़े एक ही दिशा में बांध दिए जाएं तो वो 4 गुनी रफ्तार से वो गाड़ी भागेगी. रीजन इज सिंपली unity of action. All those are having common direction. Coordination is a continuous process. It never stops. Since beginning, since planning, since having a blueprint that what to do, till final step, that is controlling, coordination never stops. Coordination is all pervasive function. It is present everywhere, at all levels, in all types of organizations. It is present. Coordination is the responsibility of all managers. I have just discussed that managers do not perform a separate function. Coordination is their function. Means synchronization all the functions is the function of manager. Manager is not supposed to perform any function of the organization. Rather, synchronization of all the functions is his duty. So coordination is the responsibility of all the managers. Means अगर मैनेजर ये भी नहीं करेगा तो फिर उसके पास करने के लिए कुछ नहीं है. एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन इज अ डेलिबरेट फंक्शन. ये अपने आप नहीं होता, करना पड़ता है. आप इमेजिन कीजिए, मॉर्निंग में जब आप असेंबली के लिए जाते हैं तो आप किस तरह से वहाँ खड़े होते हैं. यू आर स्टैंडिंग इन अ हाफ हैजर्ड वे. Then we start giving commands from the stage. सावधान, विश्राम, attention, standard at ease, दाएं मुड़, बाएं मुड़. We do a lot of things. Why we are doing it? Because that is a deliberate function to coordinate you. And as soon as we start giving commands, you simply fall into systematized lines. You stand class-wise. You arrange house-wise. So coordination is deliberately done. It is not a natural process. It is not a self-done process. It is deliberately, effortfully done. अपने आप नहीं होता, करना पड़ता है. आपने कभी do you know what the difference between the orchard and jungle? Orchard is the jungle is random. वहाँ कुछ भी अपने आप है. एंड अ सिस्टमेटाइज्ड वे में जो हमने उसको आर्ट में डिजाइन कर दिया है, देन द जंगल बिकम ऑर्चर्ड. Coming to importance of coordination, why nowadays coordination has become so important? The very first and very important reason is growth in the size of organization. Nowadays, earlier in sole trade, there is only one person. So he can do all the functions by himself. He need not to do coordinate with himself. We are self-coordinated. We have coordination with ourselves. But as soon as someone else enters in the organization, I need to do coordinate. Whenever there is other person, I need to do coordinate. And as soon as the organization size increases, the level of coordination is also to be increased. Nowadays, it is the era of globalization. The entire world has become a global village. Due to MNCs, people are working, lakhs and crores of people, employees are working in the organization. The size of organization has become so vast. So it is a challenge to coordinate or to integrate the efforts of the organization. Let me tell you an example. In McDonald's, at the billing counter, there is a machine, Panasonic machine. In that machine, as soon as the bill enters, you make the payment. The same transaction is recorded at that outlet and also at the headquarter, because that is a networked machine. This is synchronization. Means the headquarter can easily know, sitting there only, that how much sale this particular outlet is doing. This is coordination. So due to growth in the size of organization, coordination has become very important nowadays. Second is functional differentiation. See students, it is the era of specialization. Now all the functions are not performed by single person. In sole trade it is possible, in small organization it is possible that variety of function can be performed by a single person. But nowadays the size of organization has so big, so wide, that we need to do functional differentiation. There are departments. There are production department who has to do production only. There are finance department who has to deal with the finances only. There are HR departments who are involved in staffing of the people. And there are sales department who are simply involved with sales and revenues only. It becomes a great challenge to coordinate among the efforts of these departments. Next is specialization. Again, it is the extension of second point only, functional differentiation. Nowadays, what happens? There are different departments. Each department, although they are in the same organization, but when there is a success, each department claims that the success of organization is due to their department. But when there are failures, no department is ready to accept it. They simply try to put it on the other department, that failure is according to due to you and success is due to my efforts. So to bring a harmony among these diversities, we need to do coordination. And last is coordination is all pervasive function. Coordination is present everywhere. You are doing coordination at your level, students. We are doing coordination at our level. You are making a coordination between what to study, how much time to devote to which subject, other functions to be performed, other activities to be done at home. We are doing coordination at our level. We are in coordination with our authorities. Our authorities are in coordination with us and their authorities. So coordination is all pervasive. It is present everywhere. You are also doing coordination at your level, we are doing at our level, and our authorities are doing coordination at their own level. So nowadays coordination has become very important. Now let us discuss how coordination is present in management. We simply said coordination is the essence of management. So essence means which is essential. So essentially coordination should be present in planning, it should be present in organizing, it should be present in staffing, and it should also be present in directing and finally in controlling. Let us discuss. Dear student, this question may come in 5 marks, a long answer type question. So you will have to elaborate each and every point by giving suitable examples in in a very descriptive form. So I will explain one by one how coordination is present in planning. Planning means to decide in advance what to do, how to do, when to do, and by whom it will be done. So planning requires coordination. With what? Planning requires coordination with what all resources are available in the organization, what all staff we have, what all targets we have to achieve, what all strategies to be done to achieve those goals. Let me clear you once again. First of all, we make the goals, and goals are not made randomly. A lot of studies are conducted. The goals are done based on previous past experiences. For example, last year हमने decide किया कि 10,000 units हम बनाएंगे. We cannot set a target of producing 1 lakh unit this year. Means we'll have to keep our present goals in coordination of the past goals. पिछले साल हमने 10,000 यूनिट्स बनाए थे, इस साल हम उनको 15,000 कर सकते हैं, 20,000 कर सकते हैं. So we keep the present goals in coordination with the past goals, and also we do the strategical management. We make strategies to make those goals. While making strategies, again we coordinate our strategies with the goal decided. The strategies will be directly in coordination with the goals decided. हमने जो सोचा हमें अपनी स्ट्रेटजी उसी के हिसाब से बनानी पड़ेंगी. And also at the time of making strategy, we have to coordinate with the environmental factors, especially the competitors. What our competitors are doing, we make strategies according to them. We are coordinating with our resources, that is the internal environment, and we are also coordinating with the external environment. Then coming to the organizing. Organizing means grouping of activities, departmentalization, and establishing a reporting relationship. In the definition itself, it is very clear that in coordination, organizing, what we do is we try to establish a coordination between various levels, people working at various levels. We are defining their relationship, who will get orders from whom, and who will give orders to whom. We are trying to make a coordination between them. And also, while allocation of resources, we need to do coordination. Finance, which department requires more finance, we have to give accordingly. Which department requires less finance, we have to do accordingly. Coordination in organizing, let us understand by one more example. For example, the top level says we have to increase the profits. The revenue department, the sales department says, yes, we can do that by increasing the sales. But sir, we need to do work in coordination with the production department. अगर production department बनाएगा नहीं तो हम बेचेंगे कैसे? Agreed? Now, the production department says, sir, we have to do work in coordination with the HR department. जब वो हमें appropriate workforce नहीं देंगे, हम production कैसे करेंगे? And we have to do work in coordination with the finance also. कि जब तक वो हमें appropriate finance allocate नहीं करेंगे, we cannot do the production. In this way, the organizing is done in coordination with all the departments in any organization. Coming to the staffing. The staffing means appointment of staff. While doing the staffing function, we have to coordinate with various departments. That how much vacancies are there in each department, what posts are required, what are the qualifications required for each post, and how to recruit them, how to train them. At the time of training also, we have to take care of training personnel, because finance department require different type of training, sales department require different type of training. Means again we are coordinating with the staffs. Coming to directing. The most important function of management process is directing. This is called as executive function. In the previous session, I discussed that management is a multi-dimensional approach. it has management of work, it has management of people, and when both these are combined, it is called management of operations. In management, while doing directing, because directing is the executive function, actually the work is performed here. So while doing the directing function, we have to coordinate with the entire workforce. Have you seen the movie director? He remains in coordination with the light person, he says light. He remains in coordination with the camera person, camera rolling, and he also remains in coordination with the main performer or the artist when he says action. As soon as the shoot is done, he says cut, means he is communicating. So every time a director is in coordination with the entire workforce. In the same way, in a business organization also, the manager, the top level manager especially, will have to remain in coordination with various workforce while they are performing. So it becomes very important to establish coordination at the time of directing. Last function is controlling. Dear students, controlling is very important because it coordinates the actual results with the targets. What we decided, have we achieved it or not? So we are coordinating our targets, the plans, with the actual performance. So finally, we can say that coordination is the essence of management because it is present in planning, it is present in organizing, it is present in staffing, directing, as well as the controlling. Let us discuss some board questions, but before attempting the questions, let me tell you a few things to be kept in mind before attempting the case studies. First of all, merely remembering or learning the points will not serve the purpose. You will have to have a deep study of the concepts for attempting the case studies. Read the question thoroughly. Each word of the case study must be read very carefully because even a single word can change the meaning of case. Focus on key points. What are the key points? If the question is asking about functions, your answer can be planning, organizing, staffing, directing, or controlling. If the question is asking about concept, it can be about coordination. But when the question is asking about process, name the process, then planning can be a process, organizing can be a process, staffing can be a process, recruitment can be a process, selection can be a process. So there are specific processes. So we'll have to focus on key points, that what actually is asked in your case study. Then answer the questions considering it marks and word limit. I have seen the students who are writing a lot in 1 or 3 marks questions, and I have seen the students who are simply writing half page for a 6 marks question. So that is not a justified thing. You have to answer, you have to take care of word limit according to the marks allotted of each question. Let us have a discussion of some important board questions. Dheeraj is working as operations manager in TIFCO Limited. Name the managerial level at which he is working and state any 4 functions at which he is performing at his level. Dear students, this is a hot question. If you are answering the wrong level, it means you will lose all 5 marks, because then you will write the functions of that wrong level only. So you have to be very careful. In previous session, I have already discussed that operation managers are at middle level, and these are some of the functions performed by them. Next is Yash Limited is facing a lot of problem these days. He is manufacturing electronic goods like washing machine, microwave, refrigerators and air conditioners. The company's margins are under pressure. Profit and marketing department blames production department. Finance department blames both production and marketing department. We have just discussed that what is missing here. It is lack of coordination. So coordination is missing here. So we have to read the questions very carefully before attempting the case studies. Thank you very much. Keep practicing. I would like to recommend a very strong point, that for attempting the case studies, For practicing the case studies, rely on previous year questions which have been asked in CBSE only. Then only you will get a clear cut idea, concrete idea that what kind of case studies are asked in the board exams. So thank you very much. Stay tuned. In the next session, we'll discuss about principles of management. Hope you liked it. Thank you very much.